The Spark Awards 2017 is made possible in part by the following.
Just like having relevant and accurate information is necessary to make sound hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a sponsor of the Spark Awards.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Memphis community for over 60 years. We're excited to help honor those who share our goal of supporting our community and igniting positive change in the Mid-South. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a sponsor of the Spark Awards.
Champion Awards and Apparel bring brands to life on all types of custom printed products. T-shirtchampions.com makes it easy for individuals and organizations to promote their cause and celebrate achievement. Champion is proud to have created the Spark statue and to sponsor the Spark Awards.
Additional funding for the Spark Awards is provided by Christian Brothers University, Mueller Industries, MyTown Movers, MyTown Roofing, MyTown Miracles, and by Serves.
Have you ever been excited by a new idea, inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is the Spark Awards. And here are your hosts, Tracy Bethay and Rob Grayson.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us for this exciting and inspiring event, the 4th Annual Spark Awards. We're gathered here for a purpose, to recognize and honor organizations and individuals who are igniting change and making a positive impact in the Greater Memphis community.
The Spark Awards consist of 4 categories: corporate, nonprofit, education, and individual. 3 awards in each category. And finally, our Legacy Award, honoring a lifetime of work for the betterment of our community.
You know, Rob, that's 13 awards in total, and each award is a story. And we gather here to share these stories and to honor each of these bright lights, our sparks.
These awards honor the light of service and community, a light that shines brightly in spirit, whether it's in a small family-owned business or an international corporation with its global headquarters right here in the Mid-South.
It shines in a school that helps hundreds of outstanding young men and women take their first confident steps into the world, and in a teacher who works in one small classroom to develop the often overlooked potential of young people with intellectual disabilities.
It shines in the example of a young man who is helping to bring his community together to grow a healthier future. It shines in the example of our legacy winner and all he has done over a lifetime to heal and elevate our city.
It shines in all 13 of the stories we are about to share with you. But before we get started, let's hear a word from the man who keeps the spark blazing, the president of City Current and host of the TV show The Spark, Jeremy Park.
Each day in the Mid-South, there are countless organizations and individuals rolling up their sleeves, giving back, and helping others. These everyday heroes are doing things like mentoring and teaching our children, serving those among us who need shelter and are hungry. We typically don't see these efforts showcased during a newscast, but these community champions are working hard every single day, and we're a better city thanks to their efforts. 5 years ago, we launched a monthly television series on WKNO called The Spark. The show focuses on sharing these positive stories so we can see the good taking place in our community, be inspired, and learn how to make an even greater difference ourselves. Wanting to spotlight even more upstanders in our community, we launched the Spark Awards 3 years ago. It's an opportunity for you as the public to nominate individuals and organizations in 13 categories, and then for us to be able to share some of their stories in this special broadcast. This year we received a record amount of nominations. We had the help of a very generous organization who selected our winners, the Midtown Memphis Rotary Club. Now let's learn more about the Midtown Memphis Rotary Club and how the winners were selected.
The Midtown Memphis Rotary Club's mission is to improve the quality of life in Memphis and the broader community. We meet after work on Tuesday evenings in the annex building of the Southern College of Optometry on Madison Avenue. Guests are always welcome. We appreciate being asked to participate in the selection of this year's Spark Awards. Before selecting the winners in each category, we considered the nominees' philanthropic leadership, volunteerism and activism, and impact within our 5-county Memphis metro area. We congratulate not just the winners, but all the nominees who make Memphis a better place for all of us.
The first stories we'll hear tonight are those of our corporate category honorees. We have a small family-owned business, a moderate-sized corporation, and an international firm which has its global headquarters right here in Memphis. Though they differ in size, each one is an outstanding example of a business that gives back to the community that sustains it. Presenting the corporate awards tonight is Dr. John Smarelli, Jr., President of Christian Brothers University. The first award in the corporate category is for companies with less than 100 employees.
Champion Awards and Apparel is a family-owned corporation for 47 years in the Memphis area. We brand and produce over 1 million apparel items a year, screen print and embroider. We manufacture trophies, and out of our 3,000 customers, 1,000 of them are nonprofits. And of course, these days, the big thing is web. And so we help companies brand themselves in apparel and promotional products through web stores. We're very fortunate and doing very well.
And obviously for nonprofits, that's huge because it helps them brand, share their mission, but also raise money.
Right. Our biggest goal is to what we actually sell accomplishes a mission.
Talk about Late Bloomers. This is an amazing program that you started. It's giving people a second chance, but it's giving them the skills, the livelihood to ultimately turn their lives around.
Well, just like Champion Awards and Apparel, my mom, who started Champion Trophy in 1970 in a barn, called me one day and said, you need to hire this young man. And I said, Mom, I bought you out. I'm not going to hire a man from prison. She was teaching in prisons. She was retired. She decided to teach in prisons to young men of how to get obtain jobs. And so consequently, I ended up hiring a young man, and 8 years ago. And it turned into Late Bloomers 4 years later. We developed a 4-year journeyman training program patterned after union journeyman program.
You've got now people who are buying homes who never before had the ability for their families. So talk about what it's meant to you and to these employees.
We've actually trained over 125 ex-offenders. There are over 20,000 in the community, and I hate the word expert, but I've somewhat become very, very knowledgeable about the plight of ex-offenders. It just seemed like kismet when my mom called. The light bulb went on. We were having issues finding employees, and after 4 years of this, we decided to establish a training program, and we've hired over 35, and we presently have 17. And I'm proud to say we've had 3 buy homes. All of them have bought vehicles, and they're taking care of their families. That's the most rewarding thing that I get out of this, to see them taking care of their families.
That is Mike Bowen of Champion Awards and Apparel accepting the Spark Award from Dr. John Smarelli.
Our second award category in the corporate category is for companies with 100 to 499 employees.
ServiceMaster by Stratus is a contract janitorial service that services business and industry in the local marketplace. We say that we take care of your facilities so that you can take care of your business. We have an opportunity to serve a lot of different types of customers in the marketplace, whether it's event and venue or regular office buildings, or then the healthcare or educational field. We are delighted to be part of the Memphis fabric.
You yourself, you serve on a lot of nonprofit boards, you're heavily giving of your time, your energy, your resources, but you also get your service partners involved heavily in a very unique way. So talk about how you partner up with nonprofits.
We, years ago, were approached about helping a nonprofit, and our company doesn't have a lot of cash, but what we do have are people. That is who we are. And so I thought, well, what if we give of our people and their time for the nonprofits? So it's more of an in-kind donation that we're doing. But the added benefit that we had no idea that we were going to do is they start learning about the nonprofits that exist in the Memphis marketplace. We do the River Arts Festival. Well, all of a sudden our people are wandering through with a brute barrel and dustpan, but they're looking at all the art. They had the opportunity to do Memphis Charitable Foundation with the Blues Ball. They got to participate in 901 Fest and see all of the organizations that were giving in the Memphis marketplace and how they could even become involved.
Talk about SERVES. I think this is a very unique opportunity as well, and so you have a great partnership with them, kind of an apprenticeship, if you will.
It has exceeded our wildest imagination on how those 7 individuals are now part of our team. And they've done something to our team that is already servicing FedEx for them. They've raised the bar. It has been such a blessing for both the SERVES team, I believe, and definitely for Service Master by Stratus.
And one of the other unique things that I personally love, you live and work downtown. That's where your family is downtown, and you've made it kind of your mission to be able to help those who are homeless. And so you've given them opportunities. I know you've learned a lot in the process, but share kind of your passion for helping those who are homeless and down on their luck.
When we moved downtown, I made it a point to make sure that everybody was worth acknowledging. And so that created an opportunity for myself and my family to start meeting the guys and gals downtown. Well, then when I started really listening, I thought, hey, they don't have clean clothes. Well, I'm a contract janitorial service. We wash and dry all the time. So I opened up our washer and dryers so that they could have clean clothes. They've learned how to wash their own clothes and come back when the buzzer stops and put it in the dryer. And so that was one of the ways.
So last question, what motivates you every day to do what you do?
Interestingly enough, it's when someone says thank you for the opportunity, or they just want to visit with me and tell me, hey, guess what, I have gotten in this program, or I am doing this, or I've bought my first car, or even when we had one of our service partners that was through the Salvation Army program, she said, I was actually denied because I was told I make too much money now. That's what makes me smile each and every day.
There we have Stacy McCall accepting the trophy on behalf of Service Master by Stratos from Dr. John Smarelli.
Our final award in the corporate category is for companies with 500 employees or more.
International Paper is a leading global producer of renewable, fiber-based packaging, paper, and pulp products. And we are based here in Memphis, Tennessee. International Paper prides itself on being a good neighbor, and we invest in people and we improve our planet. And the way that we do that is we mobilize our people and our products and our resources in order to be able to make critical needs in the communities in which we live and work. And the way that we do that is through our signature causes. They are education, hunger, health and wellness, and disaster relief. We do serve on quite a few boards, but one of the things I'm really most proud about as well is the employee engagement and community activism, especially with the 4 pillars that we had talked about, the signature causes. In fact, just in Memphis, about a month and a half, I guess it's been, we've had over 700 International Paper employee volunteers out in the community. They've been packing disaster relief comfort kits and hunger boxes of food. They've been cleaning parks and waterways. And even our Young Professionals Engineering Group has built bicycles for young children who have met their summertime reading goals. Because education and literacy is one of our signature causes, and so we want to reward the children for being able to kind of prevent their summertime learning loss.
You have a great partnership with Shelby Farms Park where you guys have a wetlands area, you volunteer there, you've given money there. Talk about that partnership.
So Shelby Farms Park Conservancy, we help to fund and create the forest walkway and also the wetland walkway. We also do a lot of volunteering of pulling out weeds and cleaning up the park and those types of things. We also have another organization that we co-founded. It's called the Forest Land Stewards Program. And with that program, we've also had, we've invested $7.5 million for enhancing and protecting forest lands throughout southeastern United States.
And talk about partnering on the schools. I mean, you mentioned the bikes and working with literacy, and talk about partnering with Shelby County schools and the different schools here to be able to really get involved physically and even with financial resources as well.
We have a partnership with Shelby County Schools, and what we do is we, for example, this summer provided over 6,300 summertime learning loss prevention kits for children in Shelby County to take home so that their learning continues throughout the summertime. We also have 2 elementary schools in our Adopt a School program. We provide uniforms and, of course, paper supplies and mentors for the schools. We work with Coaching for Literacy and the RISE Foundation and Literacy Mid-South, among so many other wonderful organizations. Our employees are dedicated to improving our communities, and I'm proud to be an employee of IP because of that.
That's Alyssa Campbell-Shaw accepting the Spark Award for International Paper from Dr. John Smarelli.
The second set of stories we'll hear tonight are those of our nonprofit honorees. These organizations, large and small, they share a common spark, the loving desire to care for others and leave the world a better place. From the smallest foundation, inspired by a brother's love and bravery, to an organization of breathtaking scope that is making scientific advances and helping children every day. Nonprofits are a way for people to come together to do good. Presenting the Nonprofit Awards tonight is Daphne Large, President and CEO of DataFacts. Our first award is for nonprofits with an operating budget under $1 million.
The Herb Costin Foundation was formed in 2003, shortly after the death of my brother, Herb Costin. Several family members and friends wanted to do something to memorialize Herb's name. He was highly thought of in the community, was a great athlete, and had done much for this community. Herb was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer 11 months prior to his death. There was really a lack of communication for Herb when he was fighting this disease. No one in Memphis knew too much about the disease other than his personal doctor. We decided to form a nonprofit corporation to support people who had the disease and to raise funds for research. We have donated over $1.5 million for research and development. Most of those funds we've kept here in Memphis, and we work with a research team at the University of Tennessee Health Sciences Center. We think they do a fantastic job and are making huge developments in the area. We do have a support group. We meet once a month at the Cordova Library. It is it's a wonderful venue. It's a wonderful meeting. There are no support groups in this area. The nearest support groups are St. Louis on the west and Atlanta on the east. So this is something that was badly needed. We didn't really know it at the time, but it was badly needed. And it's very successful, if you could call what we do successful.
We started with tennis tournaments, many of us being involved in tennis. Of course, Herb was an icon in the Memphis tennis community, and we were very fortunate. We had 4 tennis tournaments, great participation, great sponsors, but we needed to cast a wider net. So we chose to branch out, and we're fortunate enough to link up with Start to Finish, and they've been our partner and our management company, and we launched the Kick It 5K at Shelby Farms Park. We've now had 7 Kick It 5Ks. The 2017 Kick It 5K had over 2,000 participants. We raised over $150,000. April 8th, 2018, save the date, is our next Kick It 5K. We also have an annual symposium at the medical school. Dr. Steve Bierman, who's our Our medical person brings in a top-notch speaker to the medical school auditorium. Great event. One of the great things we do is provide hope. And when Herb was diagnosed, there was very little hope. I think as an organization, we're able to provide hope to people and their loved ones. And I think that goes a long way.
Here we have Alan Costin and Jeffrey Goldberg receiving the Spark Award from Daphne Large.
Our second award in the nonprofit category is for organizations with an operating budget between $1 and $5 million.
The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Memphis has been around about 57 years. Nationally, we've been around over 100 years. So we've got a long history in Memphis. We've come a long way over time. And back in the early 90s, we added girls. It used to just be boys clubs. So it's been a long ride, and Memphis has been a pioneer in a lot of different ways. A lot of people don't realize the importance that this city has played in the Boys and Girls Club movement. We serve basically any child between 6 and 18 years of age, but our clubs are critically placed in high-risk neighborhoods and areas where kids need us most. When I arrived, we had 6 sites, plus a technical training center, and a camp in Como, Mississippi, a summer camp on Lake Sardis. Since then, we've added 4 additional sites, so we're currently serving 10 traditional clubs, plus a technical training center and the summer camp.
And talk about, the fact that is it 90% are 200% below poverty? I mean, so give us kind of a snapshot of the typical youth that you serve.
People have got to understand a lot of our families are able to work because they know their children are in a safe place that they can afford. We only charge $5 a year for a membership. And so they know they can leave their child after school or all day long in the summer. Many times they spend more hours with us than they do with their families. And so it's an important program, an important way to fight poverty. If a parent knows their child is safe, they can concentrate on what they need to do and their work. Also, we're also doing that with our own kids. One of our main focuses is workforce development. So many of our kids are employed as junior staff, and then we have programs at our technical training center that allow them to go on and gain full employment when they graduate.
Nice, I love it. Talk about the Juice Plus Technical Training Center.
First of its kind in the country. It's become a pilot for Boys and Girls Clubs of America. In fact, we've had so many tours. It's unbelievable how many people have come to Memphis just to see that site. I was invited to come. The mayor invited me to come to Washington D.C. to present on the employee program and the kids that we had working there over the summer. So basically what we do there is all the teens that go there, they're primarily juniors and seniors in high school, although we did extend the age up to 23 because we realized just because you graduate from high school, you might not necessarily be ready to go into a career yet. But all of the teens receive soft skills training, so resume writing, interview techniques, money management, all those things, they all go through that. And then they also can select one of several different career paths. So we have logistics, we have automotive, we have culinary arts, and we have IT, and we added welding this year. We work with FedEx Tech Connect, we work with Nike, we work with over 120 different companies locally to place our kids. When I see one of these young people, getting dressed up for an interview, and we have a suit closet where they can go get a suit or a dress, and we prepare them and prep them. We have vehicles they can borrow to go on an interview. And when I see them get ready and they're all confident and they come back and they've been offered a job, it really makes me happy. Some of the things they've overcome and how successful they are now, it's amazing to me.
That's Keith Blanchard of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Memphis receiving the Spark Award from Daphne Large.
The final award in the nonprofit category is for organizations with an operating budget over $5 million.
ALSAC St. Jude Children's Research Hospital exists for children who are suffering from cancer or other catastrophic diseases. And the mission of ALSAC is really to provide the life-saving support and to raise awareness for the hospital. That's what we're dedicated to do. Our over 1,300 employees are dedicated not only to serving that mission, but to also serving the communities where we live and work. That includes here in Memphis, where our headquarters are located, but also around the country. We have 33 ALSAC offices around the country, and so we love helping to improve the communities there as well. We really do not give bills to our patients for treatment, travel, housing, or food. And that is predicated on the idea that a family who has a child with cancer really needs to focus on helping that child get well and live a healthy, productive life. Over the years, St. Jude has really led the way. The world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. Our global efforts really speak to that. And so if you think about the people who invest in our work, you understand that 75% of the hospital budget, that $2 million a day that you talk about, 75% comes from supporters, from the public. And so I think that people who work at ALSAC really embrace that servant leadership philosophy. We see it at the top with our CEO and President, Rick Shadiak. And it's really a mission-based life when you work for ALSAC St. Jude. By the way, ALSAC is celebrating 60 years this year. And at our national team meeting, we actually gave service to 60 organizations in Memphis. 1,300 employees came for the training, of course, and we just spanned the city, and people picked up trash, or they volunteered in an elementary school, or they delivered Meals on Wheels for MIFA. That servant leadership mantra is very much a part of who we are.
And talk about the success rate, how much you've changed that overall with lives. And I think it's mind-blowing to look at, you know, there was 4% at one point and now it's like 84%. So I mean, talk about moving the needle.
Absolutely. So when we opened our doors 60 years ago, the cure rate for acute lymphoblastic leukemia was 4%. It's 96% today. The overall, if you take the averages of all the cancers together, we've helped move the needle from 20% cure rate to 80% today, but that still means that 1 child in 5 will die of cancer. And so we're really dedicated to keeping our mission going till no child has to suffer from cancer or die from cancer, so that we can really have a 100% cure rate.
That's Sue Harpole, representing ALSAC St. Jude, taking the Spark Award from Daphne Large.
Our third category is education. There are few things as important to the future of a community as the value placed on education, from each individual teacher in the classroom to the leaders who set an example and captain the ship, to the institution of the school itself, which serves ongoing generations. Our educators are truly the architects of our society's future. Here to present the awards in our education category is Sally Stover, WKNO's marketing manager. Our first award is given to a school that has served Memphis for over 165 years.
St. Agnes Academy, St. Dominic School. Actually, St. Agnes Academy was established in 1851 by 6 Dominican sisters who came down from St. Catharines, Kentucky at the request of a local priest. We were originally at Vance and Orleans, and now we've moved out further into East Memphis. We're 2 single-gender schools on a co-ed campus, which I think makes us unique in the Memphis market.
And service has always been an integral component when you look at kind of the 4 pillars. Service is a big piece of that.
That's exactly right. We have 4 pillars that the Dominican sisters brought with them: study, prayer, community, and of course service. And so service is an integral part for all our students, all the way from the early childhood center up through 12th grade. And we think it's an important part of something that they will learn as they go forward in life.
And talk about the evolution, because it's service at a young age, but as they mature and go along with it, then they're taking on even more of a leadership role in that.
That's exactly right. So in the early years, we just want them to get comfortable with the idea that serving other people can be fun, and it can make you feel good about yourself. And so the younger grades participate in service projects that are generally coordinated by our faculty and staff. But as they get older, especially into the upper school, our students coordinate those projects themselves and then actually make connections and go off and do service projects on their own.
And talk about some of the amazing stats. I mean, you're talking 44 hours on average per student, over 16,000 hours for the upper school. I mean, so huge stats.
Yeah, it's actually phenomenal when we start gathering the number of hours, and you've said it's 16,000 hours total for our school. And it includes hours that are supervised or coordinated through the school. And like I said, many of our students then, as they become high school students, go off and do hours on their own. And the impact on the community is just great, but it's also a great impact on our students. And so as they take ownership themselves, or as they go off and do this, they are making a difference in the world. And we won't always be there to lead them in that. We expect them to lead themselves and to lead others, frankly.
St. Agnes has really given me opportunities to grow in my service. So they send us to the soup kitchen. We have Day of Caring every year, which gets us connected with different places in the community. And they've just given me activities like Madonna Learning Center. My drama teacher introduced me to that and really showed me a love for the people there. And then my soccer coach introduced me to a soccer camp, and I spend hours and hours every summer just working with those kids and doing the things that I love and teaching them. But that's all because St. Agnes has put this spark inside of me to go out into the community and do this on my own. So while we're required only 20 hours to get each year, a lot of my friends and a lot of the other students will go beyond that and go into the community because we just enjoy doing what St. Agnes shows us to do.
And what's one of your favorite parts of serving?
I think it's the impact that you make on people and just getting to interact with those people and make those relationships. And I know that even beyond St. Agnes in college and later in life, I for sure want to keep doing service activities, but that's all because St. Agnes has helped me make these connections with the happiness that service brings.
There we have Tom Hood accepting the award for St. Agnes St. Dominic from WKNO's Sally Stover.
Our Educator Award recognizes the achievement of teaching in the classroom and beyond, recognizing the profound influence that a caring and capable teacher can have on students.
The College Campus Transition Program, known as CCTP, is administered by Shelby County Schools, Exceptional Children and Health Department, as well as partnered with the University of Memphis Institute on Disabilities. 7 years ago, both educational entities decided to collaboratively work together, and they added me to the team to facilitate as well as be the lead teacher for this program, or participants in the program. And I get to work with, and the program is for, students with intellectual disabilities, ages 18 to 22 years of age. These young people get to access college and community environment, and they get to learn transferable work skills both on the University of Memphis campus and off. So, you know, in their preferred job settings. So I get to work with these young people to develop their work ethic, as well as teach them social, communication, independence, and you know, those vocational skills. It is so important to me because these young people, you know, most people deem them unreachable, and that 70% statistic states that these young people that exit out of high school typically enter into the job market and they're unsuccessful, leaving them unemployed, which means that they heavily rely on whatever government or state assistance that is, you know, made available to them. So, you know, I'm charged with the task to make sure that these young people, you know, that they are successful, because just like you and I, they have aspirations, they have goals. And so I have to make sure that I keep motivating them that they can do it.
And it's working. So when you look at the success you're having, placing the students in jobs, being successful, being productive, give us some of those kind of smiling stats, if you will, of just how the program's working.
Out of the 61 students that I have actually taught, 56 of those students have completed the program. And 64% of those young people are now employed or actually have gone on to continue their education. Now, to me, that's what growth looks like, because these young people, they're actually now employed and they're able to take care of themselves, some their families, and they are contributing to the community. Now, that's awesome, and I'm just so happy to be a part of that. And you see the smile on that young person's face when they actually get an opportunity to go into a place of employment, or, you know, when they come back to you after they completed the program and tell you all of the other things that they're doing, such as getting their driver's license, or they've got their own car, their own apartment, whatever those things are. The little things to you and I are big things to them. You know, it is just amazing, because I always tell them, I said, you know, your disability is just one part of you. there are so many other parts of you. You're a whole person. And that's what our community have to realize, you know, to make sure these young people, give them an opportunity because they can do the work.
That's Tanya Mathis of the College Campus Transition Program, receiving her award from Sally Stover.
Our final award in the education category recognizes an outstanding example of leadership in education.
My name's Darla Young. I'm the principal at Havenview Middle School. This is my second year at Havenview. This is going into my 13th year in education. I spent 11 years at Whitehaven High, 5 years as a teacher, and 6 years as an assistant principal at Whitehaven High. And then I kind of just went around the corner and started at Havenview Middle. But I'm also a product of Whitehaven, the community, because I went from Oakshire Elementary to Havenview Middle to Whitehaven High. So I'm still at home in my alma mater.
And what makes you so passionate about education?
Knowledge is what makes us and leads us. It determines our character. It actually produces the individual and citizen we are today. So I feel like if I can go and help someone's child, and even my child in my community, I feel like I'm doing a great service back to who's helped me be who I am today.
So much of education, we talk about success and what you're having, it's building a culture of excellence.
I always start out first with my community, because without the community, a school could perish, and you need your stakeholders and the community support to back you. And with me being an actual citizen, because I still live around the corner from the school at Havenview, so all my home and my children that I have also go to Havenview and Whitehaven. But with my community piece, if I can get my community and my parents to back me and support me, then I feel like there's no mountain we can't climb or anything we can't accomplish. But as long as you get the parent, then you work your way in, and you start with your teachers. And my teachers in my community, I let them voice their opinion. I listen, meaning I want their voices to be heard. I actually let them do a lot of ownership of the decisions that we made, because Havenview is in this new zone called the Whitehaven Empowerment Zone. And we let our parents and our stakeholders drive and lead the decisions that are made into the schools. So once my community and then my teachers have ownership, then I have to go back in and motivate my students to why we're doing what we're doing. And I want them to know, you know, without you all, the community does not exist. So I have to, you know, keep them motivated to why we do what we do.
And I know you burn the candle on all ends, and you even foster children over 50. So talk about being a foster parent, why that's so important to you.
Well, my parents started as foster parents, and then as I became into the education field, then I bought my first home. Then I was like, this house is quite big. So then I started with one child, and then I said, oh, we can help someone else, because the children this generation, they just want the attention and love. They're not asking for, you know, material things. They don't really care for that. They just want somebody to listen, show them affection, and say, okay, I'm here to help you despite where your circumstances are and where they're coming from. You're still gonna let me in your house and love me despite what they've told you. And when I say that, I mean just the knowledge base that has given to me. Yes, I'm still gonna help. I adopted one of them. So it's kind of like, well, if she can do it, I can do it too. No matter what your problem or past or your current situation is, there's always a will, there's a way.
Here we have Darla Young of Havenwood Middle School accepting her Leadership Award from presenter Sally Stover.
Our fourth award category is our individuals category. It's a very special, important category because many, many great stories begin with one person asking, what can I do? The journey to becoming a spark can start a simple idea. How can I take my own personal experiences and do something that will help others? And their stories show us that no matter your age, no matter your material resources, you have something to offer. Here to present the winners for our individuals category is Jennifer Sneed of the Midtown Memphis Rotary Club. Our first award is the Individual Youth Award.
I'm a junior at Douglas High School. I'm part of a program called Let's Innovate Through Education. It's a program that gives students 6 months to launch their own nonprofit idea. And I actually run my own program called Grow Smart, which educates students about food deserts and how to use compost in community gardens.
What made you notice that food deserts were an issue?
Well, actually, when I first joined Light Memphis, we were tasked with solving a community problem, and I thought about what bigger problem than food. And I decided that one of the best ways to tackle food would be to actually build a community garden and educate people in these communities about how to grow healthy food.
And so you yourself are volunteering every week in a community garden, helping to bring this to life. Talk about what that means in terms of serving and helping others understand not only where their food comes from, but to be able to grow it to help.
Well, it really helps because it's very transparent, it's very cheap. It gives people in the community a good way to learn and a good way to get access to food at a cheaper cost rather than going to a grocery store.
So explain Grow Smart in terms of what all you do.
Well, Grow Smart is a program that seeks to educate people in local communities about healthy food by first converting food waste into compost, giving this compost to a local community garden, and using this compost and educating kids about it, and also teaching kids about how to grow healthy food. And eventually people from the community can eat from the community garden, so to get the benefit from student education.
Talk about how, like, going, because you're working with restaurants, and obviously to be able to convince them to give you the food and to be able to convert that to compost, kind of like fertilizer. Explain that whole scenario.
I actually get food waste from literally anywhere that I can get it from cafeterias, restaurants, anywhere. Whenever I ask, they're usually willing to give it to me. I even take food scraps from my kitchen and convert it into compost and put it inside of a pile.
How are you doing all this, especially as a school student?
Yeah, I'm actually working at one community garden, and it's right across the street from my school. And I just walked up to them, asked them what would they think of my program. They really liked it. I get students to come from the school and volunteer, and they really enjoy it.
So how many other volunteers, how many students are you working with, adults? Give us an idea of scope.
I'm working with about 20 now. They come to the garden usually every Tuesday to help in the community, and many people from the community also come and pick from the garden whenever they feel like it.
So what does it mean for you to be in high school and to see that you can have an immediate impact right now, regardless of title, age, anything? What does that mean to you?
It makes me feel very happy, and it makes me look forward to the future to know that me, as a high school student, that I'm already making a very important impact in my society. I hope more people understand that they can make a difference in their community today. You don't have to be a very successful businessman or anything like that. You can start right now and help as many people as you feel like you can.
And talk about your support network, because I've got to believe that your parents, friends, school, I've got to believe there's a good support staff that's helping you either guide or mentor or even serve with you.
Yes, well, first my parents, they really helped me with the compost process. They taught me everything about it. There's people at the community garden who teach me about compost even more and how to actually grow plants and fruits and vegetables. They also assist me with teaching the students. And also, Let's Innovate Through Education actually showed me how to launch my own nonprofit.
There's Timmy Beckton Jr. receiving his Spark Award from Jennifer Sneed.
The second award in the individuals category is the Collegiate Award.
I'm Miles Franklin. I'm a graduate of Central High School, and I'm a freshman at George Washington University. Over the last year, I've started a program called Resume, and I work with various nonprofits and other groups throughout Memphis, Tennessee, and throughout the country. I've been a bridge builder since the 10th grade, and during the senior year Bridges summer camp, Light Memphis looks for students to bring into the program. So at the summer camp, I applied for Light Memphis, and I was accepted into the Light Memphis program in August. With Light Memphis, you're supposed to come up with an idea that can change the city and change the world at the same time. So originally, Resume was supposed to be an internship program that just helps students get some type of professional experience. However, I realized that idea wasn't feasible at the time, so I pivoted, and in October, Resume started coming into fruition, and then in December, Resume had its first workshop. So far, there have been about 8 workshops, and we've reached out to nearly 200 students so far. And with Resume, all we do is we teach the students how to write resumes in a basic format that allow them to get jobs, allow them to be employed at some point in either their teens or their early 20s. I worked with the Lynching Sites Project for about a year and a half now. I started working with the Lynching Sites Project a little bit after I became student council president at Central. With the Lynching Sites project, I simply was helping to promote their ceremony that they had in May for the ill persons lynching. And I was helping to spread awareness throughout Central and throughout the community. I spoke at the Shelby County Historical Commission on behalf of the Lynching Sites Project to get one of their plaques put up on Summer Avenue. We did some news press conferences. And also, I helped set up some tours throughout the summer for students that come from out of town to go on tour lynching sites. Students simply need opportunity. I think truly, when I'm in my resume workshops, the one thing that they never realize that they have accomplishments or that they can gain accomplishments just through the smallest of opportunities. Every accomplishment that I've had so far, I never planned. Everything came along just gradually. It's just, if someone would have asked me a year or a year and a half ago, did I think I would be in the position I am now, I would have never thought that.
You're seeing Mona Franklin accepting the Individual Collegiate Spark Award on behalf of her son, Miles.
The final award in the individuals category is the Adult Award.
My story begins as an active duty service member myself. I'm an Air Force veteran. I was medically retired out of the Air Force due to a heart condition that I incurred while in the service. I was running a PT with my squadron and I passed out. My heart stopped for a while and actually was considered dead for a moment. When I got out or got to the hospital and revived by airmen who were trained alongside of me, which I thought was a special ordeal because I knew these guys personally. I went into the hospital and went through that process. I was medically retired out and I just wasn't satisfied with my service. I wanted to continue to serve, although if you understand how that process works when you're going through a medical board with the Air Force or any military branch, you stand in front of a board of your peers and you have to hear the devastating news that you're no longer fit to serve. And that carries along with you for a while. And so when I returned home and understood that there was many other veterans, especially here in Memphis, that was going through pretty much the same thing, or if not a little more in detail with their situation, I decided to give back in a major way for our veterans. First starting out with helping with disability claims with the VA, and from that point I began helping homeless veterans. And when you begin to uncover the layers of the issues that our veterans are faced with or dealing with, you begin to see that there's many other things that those guys need in terms of getting back to self-sufficiency. And so I started a nonprofit organization, the Mid-South Veterans Help Desk, in which we help veterans get back into the workforce. Those who are in the homeless situation, we help them with resources and housing if need be. Help veterans getting jobs, as well as just a who, what, when, why questions. How do I seek particular benefits? How do I help my spouse? How does my dependent get benefits for college? And so we found that in Memphis, and especially the greater Memphis area, West Tennessee, we have almost close to 90,000 veterans within the local area. It's the highest concentrated area in the state. And so those guys really need that help. We're undermanned, and so a group of veterans and myself decided to start this organization to kind of fill the void where there was holes and gaps for our service members.
How many volunteers do you get to work alongside at this point?
I work with a countless number of volunteers, and the special thing about the military community is that there's many veteran service organizations who jump along to help, your VFWs and American Legions, DAV. They're almost like a group of volunteers you have in your back pocket that you can pull out at any time, because we all serve the same mission, and that's helping veterans. And so when it comes to counting the number of volunteers that I've worked with, I couldn't begin to count.
That's Joseph Tyler, accepting the Spark Award from Jennifer Sneed of the Midtown Memphis Rotary Club.
final award of the evening is the Legacy Award. This is given to an individual who has made a significant lifelong contribution to the betterment of our community. This year's Legacy Award goes to a man who has distinguished himself in a long professional career as a lawyer in private practice, in business, and in public service. Additionally, throughout that career, he has taken every opportunity to encourage, support, and mentor others. MLGNW, NAACP, the Boy Scouts of America, the United Way of the Mid-South, those are just the highlights of the organizations our Legacy Award winner has sought to serve.
We are very honored to be able to present this year's Legacy Award to Herman Morris Jr.
I started out as a lawyer early on doing civil rights law with the old Ratner and Sugarman law firm. It was the first integrated law firm, and of course, among the many cases that it took was the lawsuit that was filed against MLGW for employment discrimination against African American and women employees. I did not know and would never have imagined that some years later I would return to MLGW not carrying someone else's briefcase, but as really as a lawyer for MLGW. I joined the company as the first full-time general counsel, and ultimately I was asked to serve as the president. I was the first African-American president to serve at MLGW, and we really had a ball doing good things for a good company in a good community. We coined the tagline, hometown energy working for you, to drive home the sense that this was this community's utility, and we were all there working for this community.
So philosophically, what's your kind of MO on trying to make a difference and make Memphis better?
Well, I believe that's not just an MO. That's not just a mission or an imperative. That's a reason for being. I believe that you give what you've got to give. If you've got talent, give talent. If you have other resources, give that. But you give for the betterment of your city, of your environment, and that comes back to you.
From NAACP, the City of Memphis, you serve so many different capacities and organizations and nonprofits. What puts a smile on your face with some of those?
Well, really what puts a smile on my face is the opportunity to work within those organizations to help to improve them, to work with the people in those organizations to get to know them, to build relationships and friendships. My work with NAACP, it was already a dynamic organization. When I joined it, it had the likes of Maxine Smith, Jesse Turner, Russell Sugarman, and literally legendary individuals. And what could I do? I was a young lawyer, just going to the meetings and listening and trying to learn, but I found a place where I could help to make a difference. I feel like my involvement helped to solidify the foundation. It was a great advocacy group, but we set up a more business framework so that it could perform its advocacy with a sound business principled foundation that said they were going to have sufficient resources to be able to perform the advocacy that they wanted to do. Similarly with MLGW, when I ascended to the presidency, there were things that we wanted to do. One of the things that we wanted to do was to take on the goodwill, the reputational capital, which at times had been very low. And over the course of years, several years, as a matter of fact, we went from light, gas, and robbery to perhaps the only time that utility has ever won the J.D. Power Award for customer service. We did that as the #1 utility in the country by reaching out, engaging, involving, and relating to our customer and our customer base, and again, letting them know that we worked for them. I would like to think what my career says to youth and those who would follow me, who would view it as a role model, is that it's a career and a life of service, and that service is something that you can never tire of because there's so much need. And there's so many ways that you can serve. And if you serve, and if you serve well, that you will sometimes get the opportunity to lead. And that's the greatest service of all.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Spark Awards 2017 Legacy Award winner, Herman Morris Jr.
I'd like to thank the individuals involved with the Spark Award, City Current, WKNO, the Rotary Club, and all of the people who were involved. I am humbled by this recognition. The thought that someone would deem it appropriate to pause and reflect on my activities in this community, my hometown, is a humbling thing to consider. I want to thank also all of the organizations and associations and people and individuals who've allowed me to engage with them, to join with them, to participate with them in the good works that they were doing. I realize I'm standing on their shoulders and the shoulders of countless others who went before me as I stand here and receive this award. I want you to know I will cherish it and appreciate it. I also want to thank my family who helped to prop me up as I stood on those various shoulders, my wife, my children, my sister, my son-in-law who are here with me tonight. They've always been there for me because, you see, no man, no person is an island. You don't ever do it all alone and by yourself, but it's only with the support and the encouragement of your family that you can stand and be allowed to contribute what you have to contribute, as large or small as it might be, to a good cause. And I appreciate the opportunity that this community has afforded me to do just that. Thank you for this award. I will cherish it forever.
Thank you for joining us for the 4th Annual Spark Awards. Congratulations to all of our honorees for inspiring us, for doing amazing things, and showing us that one person can make a difference. From me, Rob, Jeremy, and the rest of the Spark team, thanks for watching.
The Spark Awards 2017 is made possible in part by the following.
Just like having relevant and accurate information is necessary to make sound hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a sponsor of the Spark Awards.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Memphis community for over 60 years. We're excited to help honor those who share our goal of supporting our community and igniting positive change in the Mid-South. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a sponsor of the Spark Awards.
Champion Awards and Apparel bring brands to life on all types of custom printed products. T-shirtchampions.com makes it easy for individuals and organizations to promote their cause and celebrate achievement. Champion is proud to have created the Spark statue and to sponsor the Spark Awards.
Additional funding for the Spark Awards is provided by Christian Brothers University, Mueller Industries, MyTown Movers, MyTown Roofing, MyTown Miracles, and by Serves.